if I were, you know, a dentist, or if I had, you know, some advanced degree, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I need to go back and, you know, make that money, but I don't have the capability to make a lot anyway. So that's where it becomes tricky to me, you know, and it gives me pause. Like, is it really worth it? You know. First, I want to say that I don't have a clear answer. It's partially why I'm making this video, is to get some feedback and to kind of take you along on the journey of what we're thinking about. So that, and to show a different perspective as to why we're even hesitant about this, you know, when it seems like it should just be, you know, easy decision. Like, yeah, definitely. But so some real quick stats on our family, in case, you know, you're just joining. My husband and I, we have 2 children, a little girl who's 5, a little boy who's 2. So she just turned 5, so she's coming in the fall, August, she's eligible to go to kindergarten. My husband currently has a $45K a year salaried job. That's the gross. Net, we net around, well, pretty close to $2,600 a month. So we are just scraping by. I mean, yeah, and that's after the deductions and everything. So we need to increase our income like yesterday. So it is an important decision. We have been doing some extra side hustles here and there to kind of get that $2,600 a month up. So it's not always that, but you know, that's what we can depend on. So I have 3 top concerns, 3 that we're going to talk about. You know, if I'm a full-time W-2 employee, based on my degree and my experience, my earning potential isn't a lot. I mean, I'm guessing I could get conservatively starting out, run out and get a job, you know, tomorrow, whatever, at 40, 45K a year, you know, maybe 50K a year max. I don't have the degree or experience to go probably any more than that. So my first concern is that the con would be the earning potential isn't a lot once you take out taxes, transportation, and childcare costs. Now that's the kicker. I estimate, and you know, it's just an estimate, but I think it's as close as I can get now, is I would bring home an extra $1,300 a month. And I based that on a 45K salary job. I don't think it's that much in compared to should we be doing this or not. But I'd love to hear, you know, feedback. So the flip side of that is I could get new skills. I could get a promotion. Like there's, you know, I could also, I've thought about going into commission sales, like going into a job where the salary is dependent on your performance, at least some of it anyways, like insurance, selling insurance, or something similar, just in the sales realm where, you know, if you hustle real hard, you know, you can get more money. So that's a possibility. And obviously the pro of me going back would be more money. I mean, more money that we can throw to debt, like just automatic. We know it's coming. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just for sure and certain, and we can plan on it, and it's already set and laid out for you. In addition to retirement, you know, I could be contributing to that. So, and it's something, you know, even if I go back full time, even if it's just an extra $1,300 a month, that's something, you know. So there's that. Number 2 to think about is just, we are, most particularly me, are uneasy about public education. So not that it's bad. Orrin and I were both, you know, we graduated from public high schools and we went through public high school all through that time. I mean, we're, you know, productive people in society. You know, we're not, you know, we're basic people. We came out okay, you know, but I just feel like, you know, it's 20 plus years ago. Kids are exposed to so much now. There's a lot of innocence gone. I'm a little concerned. Like, I am concerned. Like, there's just so much. I actually was a teacher's aide. This was before my daughter was born. So what is it, 2012, somewhere around there. was a teacher's aide in kindergarten, and I was just surprised at some of the things I saw little kids doing. So literally, that's the frame of reference that I have to go off of. And I want to give, my children like a strong foundation. Like I want them to, I want to be that sole influence in their life and to pour into their life and just have them like rock solid to where, okay, if and when they go out, then they are going to go back to what they were brought up on. Granted, parenting is still, I don't know, it could be debated, this statement I want to say, that it's still, a roll of the dice. Like it's you can do everything right and may not turn out right. And like that, you can fill in the blanks as to what right means to you, but just because a parent does something or doesn't do something, that doesn't mean it's going to directly translate to the children. Still, I feel like there are outliers. There are things that you can do to kind of improve your chances. So, and granted, I'm a quote-unquote, I guess, first-time parent. I mean, I don't know. We're still trying to figure things out, and that's why we're talking about this now, because we're still trying to figure it out. I could have that view all wrong. I don't know, but so yeah. So the flip side of that is that it could just be temporary. Basically, we can compromise. We've talked about if I just blitz it for 2 years or maybe 1 year, or just try it out and see if we make a dent. Because at this point, we are, fill up a bucket one drop at a time. Like it's very slow moving as far as paying off our debt. And that's because, we don't have a regular income coming in, and it's not a lot either. So if we had, a big kind of chunk coming in every, month or what have you, then we can see a dent in it. So, we live in a generally good area, and I've heard it said that the younger years are more safer as far as going going into public school. Once you get into middle school and high school, there's a lot more temptations and things that can, be of detriment to them. So maybe if we just bit the bullet for 2 years, maybe 3, and do as hard as we can, and then pull them out and stay home. And so number 3, it complicates our life. Like as far as if I were to work full time, like we've gotten into such a routine, I guess, since I've been home. I've literally kind of been home, aside from side businesses and some part-time jobs, I've been home for 5 years, and if I were working a full-time job, 40 plus hours a week, I would have a tight schedule. I wouldn't be able to deal with the grumpy kids, and you get them ready, they're all ready to go. Oh, I have to potty, and then you got to get them all dressed, and then the ripping and the running, the schedule of it. Not only that, but like laundry and like cleaning up, and we don't have a lot, obviously. But still, it takes a lot of time to kind of run some things. I literally cook every meal, or Oren does. Like we don't eat out, so the shopping, grocery shopping, and that all takes time, and it would just seem like if I were working full time, we would have very less of that time to do all that stuff. Plus, it's a pandemic out here. If we take them to some child care facility or to school, and someone has to quarantine, and then we're dealing with juggling of the who stays home, and then the just the regular sickness that they get anyways because they're kids, and then it's just more headache. But I don't know if it's first world problems or what, that you just have to deal with it. But that's one thing. So the flip side of that is more socialization. They would be around kids their age, and I'm sure not all kids are little terrors. So they're sorry. So then that, and then I'll have some mental stimulation too from whenever I'm working. So that's the flip side to that. What we're doing right now is we're hustling. Oren tutors well, and our goal basically. All right, so what are we doing right now? Basically, we are still trying to decide based on those top 3 concerns, and we are holding off on a major decision, I guess, until May, until we're seeing kind of how things go from now to May, since we're still, thinking about it. Right now, we're just hustling. Right now, we're just kind of in a stagnant mode. I did take a part-time job. I'm doing that 2 times a week where I can take the children, so I don't have childcare costs. It's in childcare is what I'm doing, so I get to take the children with me. So it doesn't bring in a lot, but it's a little something. In addition to Oren is doing his tutoring, and he has a side project that he's doing with like another company. So he's bringing in some extra money too. And yeah, so our goal is to just continue that until May. So some concerns I have. When I kind of watch the Dave Ramsey show, and I've, kind of do kind of research like too, and I look for like previous episodes and all, Dave doesn't give, a straight answer to this decision. I kind of see him as kind of an expert. I'm sure there's others out there, but I see him more of an expert in personal finance. So I do kind of look towards him, to him and other people I can find if they are in similar situations. But even in those situations where callers call in, there's no straight answer, and I don't see such an extreme case like how we're in, with 6 figures of debt and such a low income. However, Ken Coleman, he does, and I'll link that below, a couple of episodes, and basically he tells the wife to go to work. He doesn't kind of mince words about it. So yeah, it may seem like that I want my cake and eat it too. I want the cake, but I also want to eat it. I don't want to break the cake apart to eat it. But and Oren's stance really is that I should go back to work. We're still trying to figure it out. But there are some middle ground kind of hybrid options. So one is what I already said, is that we just kind of hold our nose, or at least I hold my nose anyway, and put her in public school, put my oldest in public school, put my son in childcare, and work for 2 years just to try to get this debt down. If I were to do that, what is it? We're looking at like $1,300, so 12. Looking at, I know I'm just doing the numbers real kind of quick in my head. So at least 12, 15. Maybe we can put 20K a year. So then 2 years that would be 40K. So then the debt would be down to 60. So I don't see us putting any more than that unless something happens with our income that really increases. The other hybrid option is if I were to work nights and weekends somewhere. Like basically if I've thought about going into healthcare, like apparently that's really needed now. As far as being like CNA, those programs from what I hear are very short and easier to get into, or working at a grocery store, but still the pay is so low, I wonder if it's worth it. I'm guessed at working like $11 an hour for 25 hours a week. That's like 1K a month after taxes, and these are just rough estimates. So still the same sort of option. Like it's almost if I were to work full time, W-2 employee, and doing it 5 days a week, versus if I work nights and weekends, I'll be bringing in about the same, if maybe a little less, but about the same. So there's that. The other big thing, okay, so then the other option is kind of what I'm holding out, not really holding out for, but I think it could be a viable thing, but it is a lot of risk. Basically, if I were to start a business, because business, I can set my own hours, I can, do whatever, and the income is, I can earn as much as, I want. Some of it could be passive depending on, the type of business, or I can bring my children. It just seems there may be more flexibility. However, I think it's like pushing a rock up a hill. Like it takes a lot of work on the front end for you to see that momentum and for it to, kind of reap dividends like later. I'm thinking mostly about e-commerce, like online business, or like a food business, where maybe I would possibly or most likely sell online, making my own food product, selling it online. I admit that I listen to a lot of, the internet gurus, internet marketing, that whole space. I mean, it's fascinating to me, listen to podcasts and things like that. And some of it, they're sales people, so, I guess some of it you have to take with a grain of salt, but it seems like there are people out here doing it. So that's another middle ground hybrid option. I understand this decision of whether to go to work full time or to stay home with my children is, stay home, but I realize it's a values-based decision. It depends on values. It's not completely logical. Like, logically, I should go do that, but I don't know, there's still part of me that kind of pulls the other way. Like I said, I feel like there's a way to do both. I feel like there's a way, if not even do both, but to do it better, to earn more money than I can, working outside of the home. If I were, a dentist, or if I had, some advanced degree, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I need to go back and, make that money, but I don't have the capability to make a lot anyway. So that's where it becomes tricky to me, and it gives me pause. Like, is it really worth it? I'd love to hear some success stories if you've had to make a decision like this, and how did you make that decision? What decision you came to? And any general thoughts or suggestions would be awesome.